Hi, my name is Gage McKnight, and I hope everybody watching this is having a good day and staying in and staying safe during these treacherous, untimely, hard times. I would like to start off by saying I'm going to keep this short and sweet and just get to the point, or at least I'm going to try and do so. I would like to first and foremost say thank you to my family, because whether you think so or not, you all played a very important role in this adventure, and I thank you for every moment of it. Whether you were helping me learn the Declaration of Independence from my fourth grade memory work, or screaming at me to wake up for my first day of high school, these are moments I cherish and I wouldn't trade them for the world. I love you and thank you. Now my teachers. I'm not going to name drop anybody because literally every teacher who had me as a student deserves a raise or a medal or something, because over the years I've been at Lake Hill, I know that I was a lot to handle. I appreciate each and every one of you so much, and am so loved and blessed to have had the opportunity to come to Lake Hill and meet you all and get the education that I did. So I thank you all very much. Oh, and don't think that just because I don't go to Lake Hill anymore that you're done with me. I'll see you next year, Mr. Haygood. Now, my friends, this is the one that I'm especially going to keep short because I can't have y'all having a video of me crying on film, so I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. With how small Lake Hill is, I made a crazy, surprising amount of lifelong friends and just friends in general. They know me the best and hold a special place in my heart, as does everyone else. So thank you to all my friends I made in the hallways for helping me when I would text late at night asking for help on the math homework, and especially all my brothers on the field for making my journey just a little bit easier. I love y'all for life. I hate to end my last year at Lake Hill like this, but you know, it is what it is. It's crazy that I'm actually done and I actually made it here, because if you know me, then you know that there were times when the light at the end of the tunnel wasn't clear, and we didn't know if I was going to make the high school, let alone graduate. I never really thought I would say this, but I'm going to miss OPS, and I will always bleed green and blue. I love y'all. Thank you, and go Warriors.
I came to Lake Hill as a freshman not knowing what to expect or if I was going to make friends. It was a very difficult experience, but Lake Hill welcomed me with open arms. As the years progressed, I came to appreciate what it meant to be a Lake Hill Warrior and how my parents supported me along the way. When I look back on my experiences from Lake Hill, I think of all the teachers and staff that helped me complete my difficult journey through high school. I wouldn't have made it without them. I would like to thank the following teachers and staff. Thank you, Ms. Rutherford, for always being there for every student who needs help, and for being crazy positive about math. Thank you, Mr. G, not just for being a teacher, but a friend and a person to always talk to. I'll never forget our special handshake. Thank you, Mr. Heron, for giving me an opportunity to go on the New York trip. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Thank you both, Coach Bracken and Coach Diego, for making me a better soccer player and making the last season unforgettable. Both of you had made me a better soccer player, and I can never forget all of Coach Diego's life lessons. Thank you, Mr. Perry, for the pool games after lunch. I'll have to come back and beat you. To my friends and family that have put up with me for so many years, thank you for being there whenever I needed you. My family has been my #1 fan and my #1 supporter through everything. I love you guys.
Hello. First, I would like to thank Lake Hill and its faculty that have made my past 13 years here a dream. Mr. Perry, thank you for running a school that has given me all the opportunities and guidance I need to feel comfortable moving forward beyond Lake Hill. Ms. Frulo, thank you for assisting Mr. Perry in creating an environment that listens to its students, and as always, go Frogs. Ms. Dondas, thank you for making the college admissions process so easy and teaching me about responsibility and being a young adult. Furthermore, I would like to thank all of my teachers from kindergarten to senior year who have molded me into the individual I am today and pushed me to be the best student and person I can be. Specifically, I would like to thank my 7th and 8th grade science teacher, Ms. Thompson. Thank you for instilling a love of learning into me at a young age and being a shoulder to always lean on. To my coaches, thank you for teaching me life lessons on and off the court. Ms. Burt, there is nothing more special to me than being able to be coached by my kindergarten teacher who initially welcomed me to Lake Hill. I will forever miss randomly coming into your room to talk and dance with your students. Coach Caney, I will never forget our endless lunch talks and breakfast gossip. I cannot imagine my high school experience without you, and I will never be able to thank you enough for your advice, friendship, and memories. Lake Hill not only provided me with a top-tier education, but also lifelong friends. To my girls, Loveth, Haley, Zoe, Lindley, Claire, and Ella, I have no clue what I would have done without y'all. You guys have always been there for me through it all, and I'm so lucky y'all have stuck with me. I'll forever treasure our friendship. I love y'all so much. And to Mitchell, thank you for giving me one of the best years of my high school. I love you. Now for my family. My family has been there for me through everything, from all my biggest accomplishments to my endless breakdowns. Ben, you inspire me every day with your determination, and I could never ask for a better big brother, best friend, and role model. I don't know how I got to be the Ben Palmer's little sister, but I'm so happy I got such a humbling experience. Mom, thank you for being my rock to always lean on and support my decisions. I love you endlessly and treasure our relationship. Dad, thank you for always fostering my passions and providing me with the resources I need to accomplish my goals. I love you and will miss your terrible jokes next year.
So, as I am standing here, it has come to realize that my school year has become to an end and that I will no longer be in high school. That realization has come very, very quickly as I did not expect it to end so soon. I thought I was in junior year still, maybe even sophomore, maybe freshman. I don't feel like I have changed at all. And overall, I would like to say that it's been a great experience. The teachers in my core classes, in my elective classes, have all been great. They have taught me many things. Few of them have shown me the way that I want to go into life, especially with my majors, college, and all that. Another group that I would like to thank are my grandparents and mom, who have guided me through my life and have been there for whenever I needed them. Also my 2 dogs, one being a very, very rowdy one who does not leave me alone at all, especially when I am at home. Please send help. And my other one who was there for me whenever I needed him most during middle school. I would also like to thank my friends, all of my class of 2020. They were great. Every one of you were awesome. Y'all definitely made this year very, very fun, to say the least, especially during our class meetings whenever we would have our little discussions. To name a few of the classes that I have enjoyed, it's definitely been the ones that have been focused around my majors. Digital production, robotics, painting, graphic designing. Those have all pretty much shown me what I want to do when I get to college and what I want to study. Every other classes, my core classes, they were fun, but not as important to me as I would like to say that my digital production class was, showing me how much I enjoyed producing and editing videos. Again, overall, high school was a great experience. Do not forget that. It was awesome. And to you, those who are thinking that you might want to not go through high school, please do. It was awesome, and I do not regret it one bit.
Friedrich Hölderlin writes, as on a holiday, when a farmer goes out to look at his fields in the morning, after cool lightning has fallen through the hot night, and thunder still echoes in the distance, and the stream returns to its banks, and the earth becomes green and fresh, and drops a joyful rain upon heaven, from heaven rest. Upon vines and trees in the grove, stand shining in the quiet sun. I would like to begin by giving glory to God. I thank Him for everything He has gotten me through. I am thankful for the people He has put in my life and the opportunities He has opened up for me. I would like to thank my siblings. Britton, thank you for being loud and present all the time. Thank you for being full of joy and laughs. Thank you for always trying to make everybody in the room smile and for being the best storyteller. Makai, thank you for being real and strong. Thank you for having the best jokes and the best burns. Thank you for the late nights of video games and TV shows. And thank you for being my teammate and one of my closest friends. Boston, thank you for being the best older brother. You've always had my back, and I am grateful for that. The relationship that we have is something that is truly unique, and it all started from the effort you put in. From anime to the superhero thing, to Gundam on the PS2, and to just talking about whatever. Dalen, thank you for being here. Thank you for being hilarious and for helping us look at things from a new perspective. Thank you for the theories and the deep discussions. Thank you for the games. Thank you for reminding me how blessed I am, and thank you for being a blessing yourself. I would like to thank my parents. I am so proud to be you guys' child. You are 2 huge role models in my life. From the way you love, to the way you work, to the morals y'all have, y'all really know how to raise some children. Thank you for the love and for the chores and for the family meetings and for the meals and the music and all the effort you put into all four of us. I would like to thank my church. Thank you for being an extended family and teaching me how to love others no matter what. And Pastor, thank you for teaching me and guiding me and praying for me. I'd like to thank MAPS Camp. Miss Tony and Miss Polk, you've helped me realize the importance in investing in the youth. Teaching kids is not easy, but every year I'm reminded, teaching kids is not easy, and every year I'm reminded of that, but we always get it done. Thank you for trusting in me, and I will always be available to help you guys out. I would like to thank Miss Dondas. You go above and beyond to get your job done, and you are such a blessing. Thank you for helping me find where I'm going to continue my education. I couldn't have done it without you. I'd like to thank Mr. Perry and Miss Frullo. Thank you for giving me a place to grow for the last 7 years. I'd like to thank my teachers. I have to give a personal thank you to Miss Rashid and Miss Johnson because without them, I would not be able to go to Lake Hill. Thank you for all the rides to and from school, and thank you for all the talks along the way. For my other teachers, thank you for not being boring old teachers. You guys are obviously all passionate about what you teach and about all of us as students. Thank you for all the extra time and effort you put into helping me learn, thrive, and stay sane. I would like to thank my coaches. This sports season was special. Every other year feels like it was a build-up to this point. You guys believed in me, and you guys are people I want to fight for. I wish I had more time to give you guys my all. To my teams, you guys are my family, and we did great things, but there's still more to be done. Be proud, but be dissatisfied. I would like to thank all my friends. I would love to thank you all individually, but that would take a very long time, so I have to thank you guys generally. Thank you for the amazing memories. Thank you for being my teammates. Thank you for performing with me. Thank you for the car rides, even when it takes me forever to get outside. Thank you for the ox battles. Thank you for losing at board games. Thank you for the sleepovers. Thank you for the crazy locker room moments. Thank you for Smash Bros. And Mario Party. Thank you for Nuke Simulator and Town of Salem. Thank you for wearing suits and Tito Rosa. Thank you for CeeLo Green and Sean Kingston. Thank you for deep talks. Thank you for late night talks. Thank you for late night music writing. Thank you for coming over and eating all my candy or pie or just taking over my room or bathroom. I wish our time wasn't cut so short. I love you all so much. And Hurtling writes, but alas, alas. And if now I say, I had come to see the gods, they themselves cast me down to the living, me, the false priest, down to darkness, that I sing a song of warning to those able to learn there, as on a holiday.
I would like to begin this speech by saying that this took longer to create than I ever thought it would. There are a lot of people in my life that I have to thank, people I need to thank. And it's difficult to simply write a paper and say, yep, that should repay everything they did for me. 4 years ago, if you told me that I would be getting scholarships from multiple colleges or that I was pursuing a future in mechanical engineering, I would have laughed and then receded into my dark room to play video games. I came from a school that didn't really care about its students. There were a couple good teachers, but most were either there because they wanted to relive their younger years, joining in on drama and being a pain for non-popular students, or because they had some deep hatred for children. When I came to Lake Hill, I expected that same treatment from teachers and faculty, but what I got instead was a group of teachers that were teachers because they genuinely loved what they did and wanted to share that interest with their students, and a strong faculty filled with people who truly wanted to help their students prepare for their future. The first person I would like to thank is Mr. Perry. Though I never sat in a classroom and listened to your teachings, I still feel that I've learned a lot from you. One of the most important and frequent lessons I received from you is a lesson in the art of humility. Almost every day after lunch, I would come through the commons to see you completely destroying a poor high schooler as they attempted to challenge you in pool. No matter how large your victory was, you never boasted or bragged. You just chuckled, said good game, and prepared for the next match. I hope to one day achieve this level of humility and maybe even beat you in pool. The next person I would like to thank is Miss Frulo. While my journey with Lake Hill is coming to an end, yours is just beginning. I'm very lucky that our journeys had the overlap that they did, because in the 2 years you've been here, this school has experienced some incredible changes. Most notably, the change from our weird half-block, half-not schedule to fully block classes. Changes like this one made my last year a little more manageable, and I'm a little upset to know that I'm leaving and will not see the other great changes you will no doubt bring to this school. Speaking of the changes in my past 4 years, Speaking of changes to the school, I would like to thank Coach Yitterdal for being my rock. Throughout all the changes in my past 4 years, you have been the same voice of authority. I will miss our lighthearted arguments about dress code and privileges, and I would also like to thank you for sticking with me all these years. I know that I can be a lot to handle. Next, I would like to thank Ms. Dondas. Your interest in my scholarships and college application frequently scared me, as you knew things I needed before I even told you. I definitely wouldn't have met all of the deadlines imposed by admissions offices if it weren't for your dedication. Sometimes I think that you were more concerned about my future than I was. I hope that I will grow up to have the same amount of drive as you, if that is even humanly possible. I would now like to thank Ms. Ekstrom. Your love for this school fueled a good amount of my own love for Lake Hill. The fact that you would drive to each senior's house in order to deliver some cookies, just to let each senior know that Lake Hill is proud of them, speaks immensely of your love for your school and its students. I would now like to start thanking some of the amazing teachers that have helped me along the way. The first I would like to thank is Mr. Jones. I loved going to your classes every day of my junior year, and your cheerfully calm disposition made English one of my favorite classes. This surprising love for English was only supported the next year by the next teacher I would like to thank, which is Mr. Haygood. Your classes, while a very different energy from Mr. Jones, were some of my favorites from senior year. Though you can be very scary, especially when a large deadline is soon, your willingness to help your students will be admired forever. I would next like to thank Dr. Solonic. Though you were abruptly adopted into our schedule after the sudden removal of Dr. O, you quickly became one of my favorite history teachers. Your straightforward teaching attitude, while still being sarcastic enough to enjoy a laugh with, made your classes memorable forever. The next teacher I need to thank is Mr. Cobb. Mr. Cobb, your classes always brought a smile to my face, and I will never forget the week or two we spent learning about the economics behind the history of pizza. I need to thank Miss Rutherford next. Miss Rutherford, your positive energy made a class like pre-calculus a blast to be in. I don't know how you remain so positive, but it is a skill I envy. I hope to be as positive of an influence in someone else's life as you have been in mine. For this next teacher, not only do I need to thank them, but I also need to apologize to them. Ms. Herta, I wanted to thank you for the 3 painful years you had to teach me. You saw me grow from the shy and silent 5'5", 12-year-old looking kid to the loud and lanky senior giving this speech right now. I would like to apologize for you having to deal with that transition, as I'm sure it was a very messy one. I must finally thank what has to be my favorite physics teacher of all time, Mr. Musselman. Your class, while painful and constantly challenging, is ultimately what made me choose mechanical engineering or astronautical engineering as my career in college. I know that physics is probably one of the most difficult classes to keep students interested in, and I thank you for somehow keeping the class interesting and engaging. I hope you won't mind me asking you advanced sciencey questions in the next 4 years and maybe for the rest of time. Now I need to shift my thanks over to my friends and family. As stated before, these past 4 years have been an insane transition for me. I would like to thank all of my friends and family for somehow sticking with me and supporting me through all the highs and lows of life. While I may never see many of my friends again, I hope that our paths cross later in life and I will be able to help you in the same way many of you have helped me. In my family, I need to thank my grandfather specifically, as without him, I would not be going to Lake Hill. I finally need to thank my mom. I really don't know how you've dealt with everything thrown at us and somehow come out better than you went in. With all the different difficulties you've faced in your life, the many we have faced together, I've learned that with the right attitude, you can make any negative situation into a positive one. Your willpower alone deserves admiration, but when you add it with your positive disposition and insane work ethic, you become something of a legend. Without you, I would have remained a social recluse and would have more than likely remained a below-average student. I have no clue how to repay you for all the things you did, but I'm hoping that my hard work will at least give you hope that your own hard work wasn't all for nothing. Now that I've finished writing this fantastic speech, I'm beginning to think that this might indeed have repaid everyone for everything they did for me. In case it didn't, allow me to say thank you one more time. Thank you. Thank you all for everything you've done for me.
Despite all that may have been lost or changed throughout these past few months, it's hard not to acknowledge all that's been gained throughout these past few years and everyone that's poured into my life along the way. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Mr. Perry and Ms. Frullo for allowing me to receive a quality education, and to all the faculty and staff that have contributed so much of their time to my success. Ms. Palmer and Ms. McCarty, thank you for the time and devotion you put into your work. And Ms. Rutherford, thank you for making math a bit more bearable and radiating a light that brightens everyone's day. Ms. Thompson and Mr. Holman, thank you for being truly passionate about what you do and for always finding new and creative ways to make learning more fun. Dr. Solonick and Mr. Cobb, thank you both for your commitment to your craft and for all the stories and jokes that helped us to take time out to relax. Mr. Jones, Mr. Haygood, and Ms. Schmidt, thank you all for your endless wisdom and for reminding me why English is my favorite subject. Mr. Jones, thank you for being both a friend and a mentor to our class, and for not only caring about our growth as students, but also as people. Mr. Haygood, thank you for all the walks, the laughs, and for making my writing a bit less crappy. You will truly be missed. Ms. Schmidt, I cannot thank you enough for the time and effort you've invested into helping me grow and thrive, whether it be in English, Shakespeare, or getting into college. But I am extremely grateful, and you will not be forgotten. Senora, thank you for your love of language and for sharing that with me over the past few years. Mrs. Herta, thank you for not kicking us out of your room, for your warm hugs, and for being everyone's mom away from home. Mr. Heron and Mr. G, thank you for your love and commitment to the arts. You have both helped me grow tremendously as a performer, and I am so incredibly grateful for the opportunities you've given and the doors you've opened for me. Coach Kamey, thank you for being the best and most devoted coach I have ever had, and for the tough love with which you've trained to ensure I was always putting in my best. Thank you for all the office talks whenever I or anyone else needed advice or just to rant, and for showing me a pretty cool book. I can't wait to hear how you take everyone to state next year. Mrs. Dondas, thank you for the tireless work you put into making sure our class succeeds as we walk into this next step of our lives. And Coach Shitterdall, thank you for pouring so much, not only into high school as a whole, but also into each individual student. You both have contributed so much to our education and success, and we wouldn't be here without you. As for my friends, thank you all for making my high school experience unique, hilarious, and pretty amazing. Kira, Ryan, Zuri, thank you for all the endless laughs, dances, sleepovers, and mall shenanigans. Thank you for being some of the craziest, funniest, and most reliable people I know. Our friendship is truly one of a kind, and I know that's one thing that won't change as we step into this next phase of our lives. Jonah, there's so much I wish I had time to say, but in short, thank you for being just about the goofiest, sweetest, and most talented person I know. Thank you for being such a bright light in my life, and for being my best friend. To my family, who give me more love and support than I could possibly deserve, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for all you have done for me. Granny, Pawpaw, and Aunt Jean, thank you for spoiling me rotten, being my biggest supporters at every game, meet, and play, and for loving me unconditionally. Kevin and Misty, thank you for being so present in these important years of my life, and for always loving me like your own. Madeline, Cole, and Rhea, you all are the best siblings that a girl could ask for, and I'm so blessed God brought you all into my life. Amaria, thank you for being someone I can look up to, confide in, and always depend on. Thank you for being my role model, my lifelong buddy, and my sister. Mama and Daddy, words cannot express just how grateful I am for all the sacrifices you made, all the love you've given, and all the time and money you've spent to help me be the best me that I can be. You drove from practice to practice, went from game to game, and paid for class after class. You raised your daughters to know and love God, to serve others, to pursue what they love, and to always do their best. And I think you've both done a pretty good job. Thank you for being great examples and even better parents. I love you both so much, and I'm eternally grateful for all that you've done for me. And to the families that have taken me in and treated me like their own, the Shaws, the Douglases, the Williams, and the Willises, thank you. Your kindness and warmth is not taken for granted. To FUBAR, the Real Ones, FBGM, the basketball team, and all the friends, family, and others that have made my time at Lake Hill so memorable, thank you so much. You've all poured so much into my life, and I only pray that I can one day pay that back towards all of you. To all my fellow classmates, thank you for making my high school experience so adventurous and special. I'm so proud of all of us, even in these difficult times, and I can't wait to see all the things we're going to do in and for this world.
Hello, my name is Logan, and I hope everyone is doing well in these difficult times. Throughout my Lake Hill experience, I have many people to thank. First, I would like to thank my family for the everlasting support. Thank you, Luke, for being the best brother and always making me laugh. I would also like to thank my parents for providing me with the opportunity to attend Lake Hill and all the help they provided me throughout my life. Thank you to my grandparents for being my #1 fans no matter what I do, and thank you to my dogs for staying up with me through the late nights filled with homework. I also want to thank my teachers. Thank you to everybody who's helped me so much throughout my time at Lake Hill. I would especially like to thank Mr. G, Miss Herta, Mr. Jones, Madame Badgett, Mr. Haygood, Mr. Holman, Mr. Cobb, Dr. Sonic, Mrs. Rutherford, Mr. Heron, and Miss McCarty, and Miss Schmidt. Thank you. You all have helped me so much, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. I would also like to thank my coaches for not only helping me become a better athlete, but a better teammate and leader. I'd especially like to thank Coach Mitchell, Coach Jones, Coach Diego, and Coach RC. Thank you for all of y'all for teaching me important life skills on and off the field. I'd like to also thank you to all my friends for all the fun times, good memories, and sticking with me through thick and thin. I'm not going to name you all, but you know who you are. Finally, I would like to thank the administration for running such a good school that sets every student up for success, especially Ms. Drake for writing all my tardy slips. This school wouldn't be the same without you guys, and I appreciate everything you do for this school.
My freshman year, I was new to Dallas and new to Lake Hill. I was warmly welcomed by the Lake Hill community. I would first and foremost like to thank Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry has always been very engaging to all of us and a great headmaster to all of his students. Coach Yerdal, I would like to thank you for finally coming through with our senior passes. It was a long time coming. And Ms. Dondas, thank you for all the help over the past 2 years. When I think of what I take with me from Lake Hill, I have to recognize not only the education, but the experience as well. Each one of my teachers has given me something that I will always value. Mr. Holman and Mr. Haygood, you both never gave up on me and always pushed me. Mr. G, you've been there for me since my freshman year and always make time to be a friend and not just a teacher. Mr. Jones, thank you for not only making your classroom a place to teach, but also a place I could come to and talk to you whenever I needed to. Ms. Rutherford, you always found some time for me when I struggled in math and pushed me to find solutions. Personally, you also helped turn bad days into good ones. Ms. Badgett, thank you for your commitment, time, and energy you put in our one-on-one class and for recognizing my accomplishments. Coach Bracken and Coach Diego, we spent 4 years together. Although we didn't attain the results we wanted, you both taught me how to help my teammates and how to keep my head up during times of struggle. Coach Mitchell, although I only spent 1 football season with you, you taught me so much. I learned you can bring a team together by showing love and respect for the sport and for each other. By putting in the hard work, you can be successful. You are everything anybody looks in for a coach, mentor, and friend. To my friends, you have all impacted me in different ways throughout my 4 years here. I will miss you, but know that we are not saying goodbye forever. Michael and Zoe, you guys are my best friends. Michael, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have made it to school. Thank you for driving me, for being my go-to date for school events, and most of all, just always being there for me when I needed to talk or get something off of my mind. Zoe, we have been through our ups and downs throughout the years. but I've always been able to count on you to be there for me whenever I needed you. I love you guys very much, and I can't wait to see what the future has to hold for you. This all comes down to my family, my biggest supporters. Without my parents, I wouldn't be where I am today. Whether it be for school or at a sports event, you are there to help guide me and always have my back. Thank you for supporting me with everything I do and continuously push me to be a better version of myself. To my sister, thank you for being with me on this journey of 17 plus years all over the world. I don't know how I would have done it without you. Finally, Mr. Perry, Mrs. Frullo, Coach Yerdal, Ms. Ekstrom, and the rest of the administration, thank you for the senior year. While it may not have turned out to be what we had originally expected in a senior experience, you all worked hard to keep us reminded of all of our accomplishments and have shown your pride as we take our next steps in life.
I would like to start by thanking Mr. Perry, Ms. Frullo, the teachers, and the administration for creating and encouraging each one of us to become our better selves. Thank you, Coach Yerdal, for having an open door to each one of the students, and I will miss saying hi to my neighbor every day. Mr. Jones, thank you for always finding a way to put a smile on my face. It helped relieve so much stress from my junior and senior year. Coach Kamey, you've always pushed me and encouraged me to try my hardest, and I will continue to use that mentality throughout college and in the future. You've always been the person I felt most comfortable with when I talked to and when I need advice. I want to thank you for that because you made high school so much easier. To my girls, we've had some hard times as a group, but no matter what, we are always here for one another. You have made my high school experience special and something I will remember forever. I will miss our sleepovers when we would all grab a blanket and watch a movie and drink hot chocolate together. I will love and miss each one of you forever. I most importantly want to thank my family, to my grandparents. Thank you for coming to everything I participated in. It made the events more fun knowing I would get to see you and have a really big hug afterwards. Mom and Dad, thank you for coming to every game, musical, art show, and anything else I participated in over the years. Every day I feel loved and supported by each one of you, and I know it's cliche to say that because you're my parents, but it has meant the world to me. This year, you all stood by me during a really difficult time and helped me feel like myself again. I don't know how to thank you enough. Sorry. I love you, Mom and Dad. McKinney. Thank you for being my sister, best friend. Ooh, hang on. McKinney, thank you for being my sister, my best friend, and such an amazing role model. I've missed you so much since you left for college. And I'm so excited I get to live down the street from you and that we're now both Sooners. I love you, Kenny. I will miss being here in Dallas, but I'm excited to see what my future looks like at OU. Thank you. Whew, sorry.
I came to Lake Hill in 9th grade, which was a very awkward time to transition schools. And it was especially awkward since I was the loner type with only one real friend at my previous middle school. I've grown immensely during my journey through high school, and I used to be a quiet loner, afraid to speak on the smallest things, and I'm now a mature adult, comfortable in my own skin. Both the teachers and students were very welcoming my first year at Lake Hill, making me feel like I was welcomed into a second family and a second home. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Perry for helping everything run smoothly for his students and faculty. Without his leadership, I don't believe I would have the same enlightening experience I did at Lake Hill. Next, I would like to thank my wonderful English teachers, Mr. Haygood, Mr. Jones, and Ms. Schmidt. Whether our classes ranged from tough love for Mr. Haygood to philosophical wanderings in Mr. Jones' class, I always left with a heightened enjoyment and understanding of literature. Next, I would like to thank my science teachers, Mr. Musselman and Mr. Holman. They both worked hard to help me understand physics and chemistry and instill a scientific curiosity within me that will last forever. I would also like to thank Mr. Musselman and Ms. Herda for their support and enthusiasm of the robotics team from its inception, leading us proudly to the World Championship in our first year and showing unending work ethic during our second year. Next, I would like to thank all of my math teachers. Thank you, Ms. Palmer, Ms. McCarty, and Ms. Rutherford for helping me to better understand mathematics and keeping me smiling while doing so. Next, I would like to thank my choir and drama teachers, Mr. Heron and Mr. G, for always pushing me in my commitment to the arts, no matter how large or small. Next, I would like to thank my social studies teachers. Thank you, Dr. Solinik and Mr. Cobb, for helping me better understand the world around me and how it came to be, while always entertaining your students. Thank you to all Lake Hill teachers, faculty, and other staff who have made my journey from middle school loner to a confident freshman in college possible.
Good evening, parents, faculty, and Lake Hill students. I wish we could have met under different circumstances, but the fact that we could all gather in some way, although unconventional, to celebrate this feat is incredible. I can say now, and I stand by this, that the class of 2020 is the most resilient class of the century. What other classes have had to cut their year short and miss the most important part of their school year because of a global pandemic? While the COVID-19 pandemic stops us from going outside, it cannot stop our greatness. Throughout my years of high school, I've gained a lot of knowledge, not only from my classes, but from words of wisdom that have been passed down from all my teachers. You've been wonderful and taught me well, but I'd like to show some appreciation to a select few. First, I'd like to thank Ms. Rutherford for your patience and lenience. While I'm aware college professors won't all be like that, I really appreciated it because the patience you had with me really eased my nerves when I was the most stressed out over other classes. Ms. Schmidt, I always enjoyed your class. Thank you for checking up on me every year to make sure I was doing okay. As one of the people that saw my growth throughout these past 4 years, I'm grateful you were just one of the people I could come and talk to. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. Jones. In my sophomore year, I really doubted myself and was self-conscious about my writing. One day you told me I was a great writer, and when you gave me your copy of that creative writing book, I knew that you always had your students' best interests in mind. When I had your class junior year, it was single-handedly one of the best parts of my high school career. Not only are you an incredible teacher, but a wonderful person to come talk to and get advice from. To my wonderful parents, Shauna and Kirk Willis, my time throughout high school was a roller coaster, one that only the two of you know the extent of. I could not thank you enough for having my back during this time and your constant encouragement for me to do better. Individually, you have both taught me valuable lessons. Dad, in the 8th grade, you were the one who pushed me to start creative writing, whether it was for fun or to publish an entire book. While I never finished said book, the push to start writing changed my life forever. I never thought I had any sort of talent up until that day, believe it or not, and you were the person that let me know I did. Mom, you're my best friend. Although you and I have had our rough patches, I could never find myself staying mad at you for too long. The older I get, the more I realize how similar we are, and I love it. Thank you for always being there for me and letting me know that it's okay to ask for help when you're struggling. In closing, these people have shaped the past 4 years of my life in incredible ways. There's so much more I could say with more time. To the rest of the class of 2020, congratulations. Let's make these next 4 years count.
I'd like to start off by thanking Mr. Perry, Ms. Frullo, the teachers, my classmates, and the administration for always supporting and pushing us to be the best we can be. Coach Iredall, thank you for listening to my daily complaints about the classrooms being too cold or just letting me rant. Ms. Drake, thank you for always taking care of me when I didn't feel good or trying to let me go home early when I know I wasn't supposed to. Ms. Burt, thank you for believing in me even when I would sometimes forget to dance and just look at you. I always remember our early morning practices and the many laughs we have had. Lake Hill has brought me so many memories, such as when I used to walk to school, and even though it was just a 5-minute walk, Mr. Perry would always offer me a ride, and it was always so fun getting to ride in his Corvette. Also remember the times Miss Shaw used to pull out the kids' teeth, and we would always wait till our teeth were really wiggly so then we could have her pull them out. To my girls, I cannot thank you enough for the memories we have shared throughout the years. We have all grown together, and I'm so proud of all of you, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. I will miss our sleepovers where we fit 7 mattresses into one room, and we would fall asleep watching some silly movie. To my family, words cannot describe how thankful I am of all of you. To my grandparents who would drive from College Station just to see a football game or one of my musicals, or just to come down for the weekend while my parents are away. Thank you all so much for everything you have done for me. To my parents, thank you for always believing in me and seeing the best in me. I would not be here if it wasn't for you two, and I will always be grateful for that. I will miss you all dearly, but I'm excited to see what my future holds in Denver. Thank you.
I'd like to begin by congratulating the graduating class of 2020, specifically for making it through these weird and possibly boring times that we're in. Next, I would like to thank all of my high school teachers at Lake Hill, whom I've learned so much from each and every day. I'm very thankful to have been granted the opportunity to be taught by such amazing teachers. I would also like to thank Coach Yitterall and Mr. Perry for making my freshman year transition into the school so easy and for building such a warm and welcoming environment. Furthermore, I'd like to thank Coach Nealand because it was him who inspired my love for basketball. He would always push me and to do my best, both on and off the court every day. And just when I think I couldn't go any further, he would show me that I could do more. Coach Nealand would show his love for basketball through everything he would do, whether that's the long conversations we'd have on the car ride to camps or tournaments, or on the court during games when he'd be yelling and screaming and coaching us like a great coach would do. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents for their endless love and support. They always motivated me to do better, and they'd want to always support me in any way they possibly could. They always give me advice that pays off in the long run, even if I don't think it makes sense at the time. It was through their love and support that I was able to stay focused on what was important and to always do my best in everything I do. And for that, I'm eternally grateful to them. And to the senior class of 2020, I want to thank you all for making my high school experience so fun and exciting. I'll never forget the constant friendliness and support that we all had for each other. In a way, it made us into a big family. I'm going to miss all of you and everyone in high school, but now we're one step closer on our journey to become adults. Thank you.
May the 16th, 2020 represents an important time in our lives. This will obviously be one of those milestones that will mark time for us as we navigate our journey through life ahead of us. Class of 2020, I thank you for sharing your life with me and with all of us at Lake Hill. You provided us with so many fond memories, more than we can count. The current state of affairs in our world should teach us at least one important lesson, that none of us knows what tomorrow brings, and we should make the most of every day that we have before us. You know, changes in our world are just part of being alive. And when I think about the changes in our world since I grew up in the 1950s in Texas, totally unimaginable. You think about cell phones that didn't exist, 2 or 3 TV stations on a television that was black and white. And look at where we are today. Look at where we are with electric cars, with technology, with all that's changed. And guess what? Guys like me, we've had to adjust to those changes. And you know what? Many of them are pretty good. Because the good news for all of us is the fact that change is usually good. It offers amazing challenges, provides limitless opportunities. Part of the excitement of life is the reality that we do not know what's coming next. That's the surprise. That's the fun. That's the stepping out of the box. And we asked you to step out of your box this spring. As parents, as grandparents, as students, as teachers, all of us have had to go somewhere we never planned to go. But guess what? We're going to get to the place we're meant to be. And that's what's so exciting about it, is because we don't know what's next, but we know there are going to be some good things. I can promise you that. Today, I'm thankful for so many things, but especially for the gift of being part of your life. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Thank you for allowing me to be along on your ride, and for all these other people in your lives who've had such an impact on how you turned out to this point. Now, the good news is we've all given you a piece of ourselves. You're going to take those pieces and become what you're going to become. And we're not going to be right there by your side as we've been all along. You're going to get to be out there and make your own pathway, to make a pathway that's magnificent if you choose. Or a pathway that's just okay if you choose. Because we need okay and we need magnificent, and we don't need all of either one. So choose the one you want to be and be that one, because that's your choice. That's the greatness of getting to have life, and certainly in our country. Parents, grandparents, guardians, friends, thank you for the significant role you've played in the success of each one of the young people that we've heard about today. You've made the difference. You'll continue to make the difference. This is not the end. You know, my two young sons are now almost 40, and guess what? We still talk. We still do things together as a family. All those things come into play when they have big decisions to make. Guess what? Sometimes they call and ask me what I think. You're going to get to do the same thing. So all of you, you're not done. So if you think you're done, you're not. This is the beginning. It's one milestone that we've all worked so hard to find, and now we found it. But there are going to be many milestones. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm thrilled with the resiliency that you've shown, the perseverance, the understanding, and the hope that you continue to have. At this time, I'll turn it over to a rendition of the Alma Mater, which closes each of these ceremonies every year. And thank you for being a part of Lake Hill Preparatory School.